Right now at 6, the revolving prison door that just slammed shut.
He is a terrible threat to women and children everywhere.
The sentence handed down to a notorious serial sex offender.
Plus, an ambulance involved in an early morning crash, and police say it wasn't an accident.
The paramedics were reporting that the driver of this van was upset at them for some reason.
Then, how a program that served some new parents for decades is about to be eliminated.
I was really gutted.
And later in sports, a bittersweet draft day for a former Oregon Duck standout. The inspiration Derek Harmon will carry with him into the NFL.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich.
And I'm David Mulco. Our top story at 6, a suspect authorities say has left a trail of trauma and outrage across the Rose City as today Jared Walter, a man many have come to associate with outright predatory behavior, was sentenced to 22 years in prison.
Our Devin Haskins was in court for the hearing. Devin, his crimes targeted women and girls in the most private of spaces, and despite repeated convictions, he kept getting out.
Yeah, today's sentencing wasn't just about sentencing Jared Walter. It's also about adding a little bit of closure. Victims shared emotional testimony. The deputy district attorney calling him a predator. Even the judge acknowledging the immense impact. For the dozens of women Jared Walter targeted, Friday's sentencing brought something many of them have been denied for years, a sense of safety.
2 years ago, Jared Walter interrupted and changed the trajectory of my entire life.
Speaking through tears, one victim shared the immense impact Walter's violation of her privacy and safety had on her.
He is a terrible threat to women and children everywhere. I saw Jared Walter's shadow in the bathroom that night. I'm still scared of shadows.
The mother of a teenage minor victim also spoke, wanting an even harsher sentence than the 22 years the judge agreed to.
My wish and strong recommendation was that Jared be sentenced for life in prison, given his litany and long list of crimes.
In a rambling apology, Walter asked for forgiveness of his crimes, both past and present.
I'm sorry to everyone I have ever trespassed against and the courts for the time that I was used on me for my trespassing on others.
In May, a jury found Walter guilty of 31 counts of invasion of privacy. It's a crime that's not new for Walter. He was arrested in 2020 for the same offense and pleaded guilty to taking photos of a woman using the bathroom at Lloyd Center.
We've seen him commit these same crimes over and over again. This sentence is going to be the longest that he's ever done in custody. This sentence is going to be the longest time the community is going to be safe from Jared Walter.
In total, Walter was sentenced to 22 years in prison with credit for time served.
Specifically, women, girls who are at risk every single day that he is in the community. So I'm satisfied with the result and happy that we can bring justice to the victims.
Walter has a very lengthy criminal history dating back longer than a decade, probably most well known for cutting women's hair and assaulting them on TriMet, earning him the transit agency's first ever lifetime ban from them. As part of the sentencing agreement today, Walter also waived his right to appeal. Back to you.
We've covered this story for a number of years now, and now, yes, some closure. Thank you, Devin.
In your headlines, hackers have reportedly released millions of sensitive files onto the dark web, details that were stolen from Oregon's Department of Environmental Quality, or DEQ. OPB reporting a known ransomware group called Reseda took credit for the cyber attack and claimed the state did not respond to its demands. Some of the stolen data was reportedly auctioned off before the rest was released. While it's unclear if the files include private vehicle registration data, sensitive information about DEQ employees appears to have been compromised. State cybersecurity services are now investigating.
In Clark County, a burglary suspect who investigators say killed himself earlier this week has been identified as Charles Gardner, the interim chief of the Cowlitz Tribal Public Safety Department. Wednesday night, a caller reported an intruder at a home on Northeast 79th Street, described him and said he'd ran away. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says deputies found a person matching the description, dead inside a car. It's unclear what led up to the burglary. But a reminder, if you or someone you know needs help, there is someone to talk 24 hours a day at the Suicide Prevention Hotline. Just call 988.
The suspect involved in 2 standoffs in northwest Portland last week is arraigned this morning in Multnomah County Court. 44-year-old Raul Nava Jr. was initially wanted for identity theft. When police went to arrest him a week ago Monday, Nava allegedly pepper sprayed an officer and then threatened them with a knife. After a nearly 3-hour standoff there, police decided to back off. 2 days later, officers returned, isolated Nava in his tent, and used robots and tear gas to safely bring him into custody. Nava has pleaded not guilty to charges that include attempted assault on an officer.
And Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies say they busted a motorcycle theft operation in Troutdale. It started earlier this month when deputies pulled over 42-year-old Michael Falk riding a Harley-Davidson without a license plate or a VIN number. A search confirmed the motorcycle was stolen, and a warrant was issued for Falk's home on Southeast 18th Street. Deputies found some 15 motorcycles and parts on the property. 2 were confirmed stolen, they say, and others had VIN numbers removed. Matt?
All right, Christine, thank you very much. We started out cloudy, ended up like this. Just a beautiful day here in the northwest part of Oregon. We're 71 degrees right now. Southwest winds, though, brought some cooler marine air inland from the coast into the valleys, which is why we saw our temperatures drop. Well, from record levels yesterday, we hit 81 into the mid-70s today. It'll be even cooler this weekend, cooler than today. There are showers, but they're going to stay down to the south and probably another warm-up later next week. Now, you can see those showers rumbling around southern and central Oregon here. There's been some pretty good rain down in southwest Oregon. In fact, when you look at the totals here, a place called Goose Lake, that straddles the Oregon-California border, nearly an inch of rain. Lakeview, nearly half an inch. Howard Prairie, if you're familiar with the Ashland, Medford area, that's near there. They had 3,800. The Illinois Valley, south of Grants Pass, and Klamath Falls with 3,178. So there's some pretty good rain in Oregon today, just well south of the Portland area. Tomorrow, clouds in the morning, then becoming mostly sunny, get up to about 70. And Sunday will be very similar, just a bit cooler. So, yes, a great April weekend, the final weekend of April on the way, guys.
Yeah, not too bad, all things considered. Thanks, Matt.
Now to a scary situation in northeast Portland early this morning after a seemingly enraged driver appeared to cause a crash involving an ambulance.
John Adams is live near northeast 121st and Sandy. So, John, walk us through what you know.
Yeah, David and Christine, we know the incident happened just before 2 a.m. early Friday morning. Crews on that AMR ambulance had to call for police assistance after they were tailgated by a suspicious van. Now, this is video that we have from overnight. You can see the smashed-in bumper of the AMR ambulance. According to Portland police, the driver of that van was not only tailgating, but yelling at the ambulance for some unknown reason. While police were en route, the van aggressively pulled in front of the ambulance and hit their brakes, causing the ambulance to slam on its brakes to avoid hitting the van. The abrupt stop caused cars behind to run into the back of the ambulance.
Yeah, it's a little surprising that someone would be driving aggressively towards an ambulance like that. I'm not sure what the cause of that would be. You know, most people consider ambulances to be, you know, helping the community, and they are on every day, and they're a critical part of our public safety system. So that is unusual, and I'm not sure why it happened here.
The driver of the van left the scene and has not been located. Neither the ambulance crew or the other drivers involved in the wreck were hurt. Now, according to an AMR spokesperson, that ambulance was not responding to a call at the time and did not have any patient on board. David and Christine, back to you.
Yeah, even police shaking their heads about this one. John Adams in Northeast. Thanks, John. On a new information this evening around Multnomah County's proposed budget and one of the programs aimed at helping first-time parents that could be cut.
Celine Stevens joins us now live in Southwest Portland's Goose Hollow neighborhood. Celine, you spoke with a nurse in the program. What was her reaction?
David, Christine, she was disappointed to hear the news. So the Nurse Family Partnership Program was one of the 4 programs mentioned during yesterday's budget proposal that could be eliminated. It's been around for years, and it's meant to help low-income families who are first-time parents during and after pregnancy. But now that could all be going away.
I was really gutted when I found out about it.
The Nurse Family Partnership Program, a nationwide program that's existed in Multnomah County for over 25 years, may be eliminated soon thanks to budget cuts.
The challenge this year and every year is balancing the budget. Any budget built when resources are constrained requires tough trade-offs, and we've had to make many of those.
County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson's proposed $4 billion budget makes cuts in nearly every department except the sheriff's office. Hannah Snyder, a member of the Oregon Nurses Association who works with the program, says this move could hurt low-income families.
Our program serves people who are at real high risk of being left behind by the system. So that's people who are low income, people who are maybe refugees, maybe survivors of abuse, maybe teenagers.
These home visiting nurses are usually paired with first-time expecting mothers. They support them throughout their pregnancy and into the first 2 years of the baby's life.
We might do everything from home health assessments and interventions to connecting families to health services and public services, to working with them to build their parenting skills.
Vega Peterson said Thursday, despite it not being continued, all hope is not lost.
This program is part of a larger system of home visiting services where other capacity is being preserved.
According to the county, the program currently serves 207 families with 8 working nurses. Families will be transitioned to other services to continue getting their needs met. However, Snyder says it might not be that easy.
I've been making calls to a lot of our community partners that we work with, that sometimes we even refer our clients to. And I have to say, everyone that I've spoken to is also facing budget cuts right now and is not sure if their program is going to be running in the future. And so
while this means Snyder would also lose her job, she says she's more worried about the impact on the community.
It's really sad to me to be seeing these cuts happening at a time when we're seeing unprecedented threats in terms of cuts to federal funded services as well.
The ONA told me they're asking people to send messages to commissioners asking to help save these critical health programs and to attend the hearings to testify against these cuts. The next meeting will be held both in person and virtually on May 14th at 6 p.m. at the Multnomah building. Back to you.
Difficult decisions to be made as the county deals with a $77 million deficit. Thank you, Celine. In an update, nearly 24 international students studying at Oregon colleges and universities who had their visas revoked without warning will apparently be getting them back. After a number of legal challenges, today the Trump administration announced it is reactivating visas for many of the nearly 2,000 students nationwide who had their status revoked in recent weeks. Many say they had no criminal records and were targeted for political activism. Some of them were also arrested. The White House calls this a temporary reprieve, and it's not clear for how long until ICE can craft a new policy framework around visa terminations.